Riker, William T., first officer of the NCC-1701D Enterprise. Known for nautical beards, trombone playing, solid poker face, but mostly cannot keep it in his pants. This is a countdown of all the times Riker just could not help himself. All right, so technically, I guess the least weird relationship Riker ever has is with Deanna Troi, but it's still pretty weird. They meet on Beta Z, fall in love, become Imzadi, which is Betazoid for first, not first sexual partners because we met these two, but like first spiritual lovers. Gross. Anyway, Riker ditches Troi because of his career, but lol, then he and Troi wind up both working on the Enterprise together. So now they're friends, except sometimes they aren't. Troi hooks up with Riker's transporter twin, Tom Riker. Also, Troy's mom, Waxana, tries to climb the tree that is Will Riker. Seriously, it is like super weird. But eventually, they go to a Fountain of Youth planet. Riker shaves his beard, which is terrible, but then they get married anyway, and wind up on their own ship, the Titan. Oh, also there's a book where old Riker uses the Guardian of Forever from sitting on the edge of forever to go back in time to prevent Troi from dying. They're really intense, in or out of continuity. And yet, that's as normal as it's gonna get. So buckle up, Buttercup.
An interesting choice of words.
I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I think the next least weird Riker romance is that time the Space Irish come aboard the Enterprise. He meets Brenna Odell. She is an adult. There is clear consent. She's way out of his league, but that's about as weird as it gets.
Do not like girls.
And here's this time Riker goes to Angel 1, aka Planet of the Dominant Women, where men are docile and also wear the worst outfits in TNG history, which is really saying something. Riker puts on the getup and basically lets Mistress Beata have her way with him. Again, everything is a pretty above board here. Also, Tasha and Deanna get to laugh at Riker's dumb costume, so
Thank you, Lieutenant.
call it an overall win.
Is there a problem, Ensign?
You're wasting your time.
Riker and Rolaren have a whole love-hate thing going for each other that they only satisfy during a wacky episode where they lose their memories. So that's less weird and more just super awkward.
What if I snore in my sleep?
What makes you think you're gonna get any sleep?
Don't have sex when you don't know who you are, kids. That's some sage advice from me to you. Meanwhile, Riker is off-screen dating this nice engineer named Carmen. She, gets devoured by a giant snowflake. These are the less weird ones. Just wait. I'm not sure where to put the Riker and Soren Janai romance thing because it's a non-binary love story. It's not weird because of that. It's weird because Riker's like, hey, I don't get this no gender thing. When non-binary and genderqueer humans exist in large quantities on Earth, like right now. Oh, and also Soren is like, tell me about your junk, dude.
Commander, tell me about your sexual organs.
And that is not professional. Like, I know things might be different in the 24th century, but if I asked my camera guy if he wanted to like talk genital configs, I'm pretty sure I'd be out of a job. Pretty confident. Also, that episode ends with Soren getting tortured until they aren't attracted to Riker anymore, and that's just depressing. And now, it's time to lighten the mood with what I like to call a Riker shame spiral. Before we commence, I just want to remind everyone that Riker manages to keep himself under control when Famke Janssen comes on board, all full of alien pheromones. Just keep that in your mind, because Riker also 100% hits on Data's newly born android daughter, lol. Also, hits on a slave named Yuta while she's testing a drink to make sure it isn't poison for her sovereign. Way to read the room there, Riker. By the way, that romance ends with Riker vaporizing Yuta with a phaser, so that's yikes. He also gets found out while trying to blend in on an alien planet and only gets out of trouble by putting out for his nurse, Linnell.
It's your only way out of here, my alien.
so way to go. But most of all, let's not forget Atana Joel, the woman Riker plays a sex VR game with that turns him into a slave, after which he then brings said sex VR game so everyone else can play it too, also become slaves, and thus nearly get the Enterprise stolen. I mean, Jesus, man. I gotta believe the 24th century still knows what practicing safe sex means. Don't play literal sex mind games, guy. Wow. Okay, that's the shame spiral. Cool down by also remembering that a newly discovered Q named Amanda basically tries to force Riker to love her, and he puts his foot down. Mostly. I mean, she's a god. He does as good a job as anyone could do. Better than Picard would, that's all I'm saying.
Morning, darling.
But the weirdest Riker romance of all, and I've given this more thought than any human should, has got to be Minuet. Hear me out. She's a holodeck program he meets in season 1 for one day, like maybe a couple hours. She specifically is made for him by the Binars, but after they turn out to be kind of dicks, she disappears forever. I just want to be clear. Riker sees her once. She is a series of photons, not a person.
Too real.
And yet, in season 4, Riker gets manipulated into thinking he's lost his memory and is now in the future, where he has at one point married and had one child with Minuet. An alien creates the world based on Riker's strongest desires, and that includes not Deanna Troi, not Rolaren, not any actual person he's known for more than 24 hours, but a sexy holodeck lady in a red dress. That is weird as hell, Riker. People say Barclay's got holodeck problems, but he's clearly not the only one. I'm just saying. And those, my friends, are the weird romances of William Riker. Thank goodness he married his therapist.